Unconventional.
Unconventional Therapist Podcast with your host, Sharice Thompson Hastings, licensed clinical professional counselor, bringing unconventional perspectives in a world of norms and expectations. I will let you guys know today is going to be a very serious and triggering episode. So just giving that warning before we start. And let me introduce my guests. We got Precious and Brianna, and I'm gonna let these girls introduce themselves. You can tell my audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into some things. You want to go first?
I'll go. My name Precious. I'm 29. I have 4 children. I work as a security officer for Walker's Bluff currently, and just here to speak on, I guess, my son and everything that surrounded his life and death.
All right, Precious.
Okay.
Bree.
I am Bree. I am 25, have 2 kids, newborn here, and I am here to talk about my son, stillborn.
All right. Hey, Bree. All right, guys. So, as my ladies let you guys know, today's episode, Forever in Our Hearts, is about our boys, Nicholas Jr., baby Hank, Ryu Ra, and Joshua. And we're going to do what we always going to do, and that's let their lives live on, their names live on, and all those things. I'm going to let y'all know now, I'm nervous as hell. I am on edge, and I'm probably going to cry a whole lot because when it comes to my baby, that's just what it is. I start all my episodes with a mental health check-in, and today's mental health check-in, ladies, is what is your go-to self-care? Because I feel like after this, we gonna fucking need it. So,
Uh,
what's your go-to self-care?
my go-to self-care is like a day without kids.
Ooh,
Love my children, but I'm a 24, 25, 8 type of mom. Like it's every day, all day for me.
yeah.
So whenever I need a day of self-care, I'll drop their asses off to my
But what you do? So, like, okay, you drop them off. Give me an example of like what you gonna do, like if you get that day.
honestly, however the day presents itself. Because like when you a single mom, you don't get a lot of opportunities to do nothing. Like when it comes to shopping, cleaning
Okay.
the way you want it clean, just anything, getting my nails done, going to the spa, anything that I can't do whenever I'm with my kids. Like I can take my kids, get my nails done and stuff like that, but it's just a little less stressful when you ain't got no kids. So anything that is a little less stressful without kids, I'm doing it.
Work.
Like even if it's like
That. I'll second that motion. Yes.
True, true.
Bree, what you
That's,
do?
mine is drinking some wine. And that's mine. My go-to: drinking some wine, either or taking a bath
Okay,
and
so
relaxing.
like I know Bree before the baby, so like drinking wine is okay. I can expect that. So how you plan on doing that? Like, are you gonna have dad get her while you do that? Like, what we doing?
So I got a few people already lined up that's already ready to watch
Well, okay, so it's gonna be kid free time. Okay, that's what I was
her.
making sure.
Yeah,
period.
like my mom already ready to
Okay,
watch her at any given moment. She already said Tuesday she was ready to get
so
her. So
okay,
Tuesday might be my day.
for sure.
Okay.
I was just making sure because and like Precious was saying, like as a mother, our self care don't really be like uninterrupted for real. Like we be trying to get it in when we can get it in, however we can, and sometimes we be self caring while we still caring for these kids. So I just wanted to make sure you remember the shit for you too. I'm gonna say my favorite, and this is as a therapist, this is so crazy. I be telling people all the time, it be the simple self care that we forget about. My favorite is intentional naps. Like saying that I'm gonna take a nap and actually fucking doing it is crazy. Because I mean, a nap is really rare these days. I don't really be getting naps. So when I say, Mama, I'm finna go lay down, take Nick's son, do something like, and actually go to sleep, and I wake up, I'll be like, oh yes. So that's good. But when it's like I need that social aspect, I love like going out to eat. just like with a friend or something, go out to eat. I love to go get, what I'm saying, my nails and toes done. But like tonight, I really think I just need that girl time and
Yes.
get outside.
Agreed. Agreed.
So we're
Agreed. I've been outside in long time.
already said we are going outside. All right, ladies. So my first topic, I said I would love for us to introduce our boys, and I thought this was so cool too because it was all boys. So I'm loving the fact that I can just say our boys. I want you to introduce your son and just share anything that you want to share. I know that's like one of my highlights. Like I absolutely love talking about my son. So who want to go first?
Bree, you could go first.
Okay. Okay. So my son name is Joshua. I call him Joshy. I didn't get a chance to necessarily meet my son. Um, he was a stillborn. I was 8 months pregnant with him. I did birth him, but
So you
I
actually
was. Yep, I pushed him out.
okay?
Um, so that was a little difficult trying to push a baby out that was not alive and breathing. Um,
Definitely a
but
challenge.
the time I did have with him when I did push him out was a bittersweet moment because I did get to see what he would have looked like because he had his features and stuff like that. I didn't. The only thing I didn't see was his eyes. I didn't see his eye color. But my baby boy was very active inside of me. But I would say like that I do miss very much. And then 6 months later, this thing pop up.
But you know what? That's how they say that, y'all. They say like usually after a loss, and then sometimes like they say a lot of times it be twins too, which is crazy because I'm gonna share that like Nick's son was a twin, but they say that happen a lot. Like after you have a
Yeah.
loss, the babies come right back. Like hello.
Yeah, I think like and what's crazy, I feel like she looked like my son.
Mm.
Like it was like a reincarnation of like what he looked like.
Mm.
That's one of
And
my topics too. I'm gonna
and it's
definitely talk about.
crazy to me, like how that works. And even when she was born, the day she was born, I kept seeing cardinals. And then I seen cardinals, and the day she was born it was the day it was raining really hard,
Wow.
and I had a doctor's appointment. And I was like, and then I think was it a day before I had a dream about my son. It was like he was trying to tell me,
To
oh,
get
my
ready.
sister, my sister is coming.
Get ready.
So it was crazy because my man was had to go to work, and when I opened the door to go to my doctor's appointment, he was outside. It was like everything lined up. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience for me. So I definitely miss my son though every day.
Precious, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
My son, his name is Ryu Ra Eberhard. He was born August 9th of 2021. He was born healthy, beautiful little boy. He had when he was first born, he never used to smile. He always had a mean mug. But then when he was about 3 months old, he started just smiling, biggest, most beautiful gummy smile. And
Yeah.
that became was seeing his smile. Um, I have three other older kids, and they loved always holding him and taking them to their room and just spending a lot of time with him. Um, when my baby was 4 months old, I found out he had COVID and what was it, rhinovirus. And I found out because we were at home. My baby wasn't drinking his bottle like normal babies drink, and it was just random. Like I noticed it one day, and I'm like, damn, he ain't had as many bottles today as he normally would have. So I kind of started clocking it, like timing and everything, and then like after like 6 hours of him just consistently sleeping, not waking up for a bottle, like some ain't right. Took my
Right.
baby to the hospital, found out he had that. And then they did an x-ray on my son and they found out his heart was like the size of my fist and his chest.
Wow.
They flew us to St. Louis because it was supposed to be caught during my pregnancy and it didn't get caught. So they flew us to St. Louis so we would have more access to more doctors and more machinery and shit. We got to St. Louis, everything was good. Um, they did some evaluations for like 2 weeks and then they sent us home. And then whenever we went home, they got in contact with me and let me know that he had like a rare genetic condition that they only found out about in 2016 and they wanted to do more testing and da 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 da. So we started doing back and forth visits. I'm not gonna get into all of that because this is supposed to be about who he is, but we'll get there. Anyway,
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely. Actually, we gonna get there. Yeah.
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 So, but in between all the doctor visits, Ryu stayed a very, very happy baby. He was always happy, no matter what the fuck they was trying to put. Sorry, no matter what they was trying to put through, he stayed happy until his last days. My baby kept a smile on his face until the day before he passed away. He was a beautiful, beautiful baby, and yeah,
Happy
that's
anniversary.
why you was a beautiful child with a beautiful smile, with a lot of love and a lot of family around.
Yes. So before I introduce my boy, that's what really made me put us together. I wanted to bring those perspectives. I actually wanted a fourth person. So I felt like all of our stories, like we all are in the same boat, but we floating different, and that's what people don't understand. Like that's what I really wanted to do this podcast for because I'm gonna get into that too. I feel like sometimes we just misunderstood, and I feel like people really need to know how to handle us.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
We be in the same boat, but our shit different. You know what I'm saying? So like, I brought Bree because Bree lost her son last year, and like she said, her son was born, stillborn. So her story is different. Ryu was here. What he was 7 or 8 months.
8 months, 20 days.
Yep. So you got to experience him, during that time. Whereas with my boy, ooh, well, see, look, they'll be on signs, y'all. With my boy, he was born, and I guess this is my perfect time to tell Junior's story. But he was born, so I knew. I think I found out like around 4 months that um, he was going to be smaller. Like we knew something was gonna go on. So kind of like Ryu, I got diagnosed with a rare condition. It's so crazy because the condition that I have, um, it's not a lot. Like if you Google it, they really just started researching it in the last 10 years. It's hardly any research. I actually did the footwork and found out myself what was going on with me. And then it got confirmed through labs or whatever. I told my doctors what was wrong with me because I was so on it. Like I was going through a lot. I had before Junior, I had 8 miscarriages previous to him, and then like I said, I had the loss with him. So it was like I knew something was going on. So the condition that I have, it causes my placenta to have blood clots in it, which stops my baby from getting what he needs. Yeah, and so it made him be small. So Nicholas, we called him Baby Hank. Um, he was only born 14 ounces. So I mean, like I went to a doctor's appointment that day, and they was doing a stress test, and they was like, "Listen, I was in St. Louis because, of course, I was high risk after we found out about the condition." So the doctor was like, "Oh my God, emergency C-section." Mind you, it's just me and my husband there. Nobody know what's going on. We didn't even have our phones charged, y'all, because we thinking it's just a doctor's appointment. We finna go back home. So, but we knew. I mean, we knew he was small, so we already knew he was up for a NICU journey or whatever. But he was doing good otherwise. Like, I wish I could insert like his ultrasound, y'all. My baby had his feet all the way up on his forehead, like just doing crazy stuff. He used to be in my stomach acting a fool. But so like I'm on the stress test. They're like, no, like get over there now. We're finna do an emergency C-section. They prepped me for the C-section, and then he likes to play games. His heart rate goes back up. Everything is cool. So they're like, all right, we're just gonna monitor you, see how this go. Y'all, I called my mom. I'm like, all this shit is going on. I'm on a monitor for like an hour. Boom. They like, it's time to go. This time we ain't stopping it. We're taking you in. Mind you, my phone is on, like, I didn't have no charger. We didn't bring nothing in. I didn't want my husband to go to the gift shop because I'm like, for what? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. So we didn't have no phone. So I didn't get to record my C-section. It was emergency. My husband got to go in with me, but it was like nothing was nice about it because our memories are very limited now because of that. So emergency C-section, mind you, they're telling me like, well, let me go back. So they're like, are you sure that you want to have this baby because your life is in danger? Like at this point, it's either him or you. And I was like, fuck you mean? Yeah, like it's his life over mine. And the doctor was
Yeah.
like, yeah, but he's only 14 ounces. Like he's not going to probably even take his own breath. Like he's too little for us to intubate him. The chances of him living is like 3%. I said, well, I want to take that chance.
It's just 3% of hope.
So we went into the emergency C-section, and guess what, y'all? My baby took his own first breath.
Amen.
When they pulled
Hmm.
him out, he took his own first breath, but they intubated him like they told me they wouldn't be able to do because he was too small.
Mm.
And so, our NICU journey started, which this was so painful too. Like, I had a C section. So, I was at one hospital and he was all the way at another hospital, y'all. And I couldn't get out of my bed for a whole 24 hours. So, by the time I
Oh,
got
that's
to
right.
be wheeled over by his dad to go see him, his dad had already seen him. Everybody else had seen him. So, that's something that hurt me because everybody else got to see my baby before I did.
Oh,
And so when we got there, whatever, he was doing good. And like you were saying, Ryu, like my baby was thriving, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all later, like some of the stuff that he was doing.
did I lose connection?
Huh?
I
No, you
thought I
still on
lost
there.
connection.
Yeah, it said your connection.
Sorry, I done walked off. I'm good.
But what I say, Bree? What I just say? I forgot.
Um,
You was
now
saying
you
like you
you asked
said
me to
Oh
go
yeah,
first.
so he like we got pictures of like so I was pumping and they would take my breast milk and put it on like a swab and put it in his mouth. Y'all, he
Hmm.
was like trying to suck the swab, like he
oh
wasn't supposed to have that type of reflex yet. He was doing everything. And my baby was doing so good, the whole time, which don't get me wrong, he was. He was 14 ounces, he was very premature, but he was thriving, like things was happening, everything was going good. And I'm gonna talk about what happened to him when we get into that like part. But yeah, like he was a happy baby. He was doing everything. And then, well, I guess I can't tell y'all. So then he had to get like, you guys ever had the experience of pick line?
yep.
Yeah.
So they went to do the pick line and it coiled. It didn't go through, which was a failed pick line or whatever. So they took it out and they said that he was in pain. Mind you, my baby probably was in pain, but I feel like did y'all even give like Tylenol or anything like a chance to work? They said that he was in so much pain they had to give him fentanyl, and my baby went into respiratory distress. My thing is this: a baby that's already
Grandma?
not able to breathe on his own, why did you give him fentanyl?
They
Mm.
killed that baby.
Yeah, and I never will understand that. Like, then when
Mm.
I got his autopsy report, we had to go to St. Louis and sit in front of them same people that gave my baby that medicine, and I'm like, you sitting in my face telling me he was good. Besides being premature, he was good. He was good. He was good. There was nothing wrong with my baby. So the day y'all gave him fentanyl, you can't tell me that that ain't what did it. Like you just can't tell me that.
His body wasn't strong
So,
enough for a fentanyl.
Yeah.
me, our story is a lot alike. When Ryu was 8 months old, we went in for one of our regular checkups because we already know he has this heart condition. He had hypotropic cardiomyopathy, where the left side of his heart is enlarged. They also knew he had ELA2, which is the rare genetic condition, right?
Hmm.
So they wanted to bring him in supposedly for testing. We go in for a doctor's appointment and they decide to admit him. They said his heart function looked a little different than the last time he came. So by this point, this was like our fifth or sixth admit. So I had a trust with these people. Like we've been admitted quite a few times. I'm trusting y'all. Every time we've came, my son's never had any issues. We come in, we stay for 2 weeks, we leave, we go home. So I'm thinking this is about to be another one of those.
Yep.
And I let them admit my child, and I come back. I told them I had to come back to Carbondale to pack up my other kids' bags so that they could stay with my sister because I know that every admission is 2 weeks, maybe more.
Right. Right.
Carbondale, and I packed up my son, my all my kids' bags, packed up the bag back to St. Louis. When I got to St. Louis, my son was swollen like a watermelon, whole body, face swole, and I still got pictures and videos. I wish I could insert them here,
I
but
know. That's what I'm gonna try to figure it out. Like as far as you know, what I'm saying, let's having some good pictures of our babies. Like I do want to do that. I'm gonna figure it out.
my baby's entire body was so swollen that he couldn't open his eyes. He couldn't move his head. His neck was swollen. Everything was swollen. So I started screaming for a nurse. The nurse came in and they
So
said
they didn't prepare you. Like they didn't tell you that that was going on.
they didn't even know until I got there. So I walked in the room. Apparently, my son had been hooked up to IV fluids when he was fully capable of drinking his bottle at that point. They hooked him up to IV fluids because, in their opinion, they said he looked dehydrated.
Mm.
Um, so when I came in the room, he had been hooked up to IVs for over 3 or 4 hours, and nobody had even went in the room to check on my child.
Oh
Um,
my god.
So when I yelled for the nurse comes in and said, "Oh, looks like we overhydrated him a bit.
They now do.
We're going to turn it off now." Turned it off right in my face. And then they said they were
That
going to
comment that she
give him,
made
they were going
overcompensating
to,
him.
they said they were going to give him diuretics to pee off the extra fluid. Mind you, this is a baby who already has an enlarged heart and a condition that y'all don't know much about. So when
Absolutely.
they started giving him the medicine that they would give a normal person to pee off the fluid, it didn't work for my son. So his lungs started to collapse. They put him on a high flow nasal cannula and he kept snatching it off because he wasn't used to all that air being blown in his face. And they had to intubate my baby in my face. 45 days of him being on life support, of them constantly overhydrating him, underhydrating him, changing the medicine every 3 days. And then 7 doctors pulled me into a room and told me that he had 0% life expectancy to come off of the ventilator, and that his body was starting to go into distress, and that he was having not heart attacks, but I can't remember what it's called.
It's because it's two words that they was using for my baby too.
It was a heart attack, but it was something similar to a heart attack.
My baby,
You talking
yes.
about
Cardiac arrest.
yeah.
No, that wasn't
What?
it.
No, a him. It was a him. Not hemorrhage.
I'm trying to think of the two words that
Cause
they
my
use.
my grandma be having them.
Distress. No. Well, it was some
It's
medical term.
something. Like, we don't even talk about.
You all know what you're talking
Way,
about.
either way, they were basically telling me my baby was having many heart attacks and it was like super painful or whatever. And they gave him 7 different kinds of pain medicines and he was still going into distress. He was still having these situations, these episodes. And they let me know right then and there, after the 48, 45 days or whatever. They were telling me, they were like, well, he can go into distress and you might not be here. And we'll try to do everything that we can to save him. But if we can't, then he could die and you're not here. They put this pressure on me to take my kid off of life support.
I know that
And
feeling.
I was there by myself. I didn't have his dad, not a single family member. It was just me and Ryu. So I originally told them, like, no, we going to fight until the last minute.
Right.
But then I went in my son's room and I started praying over my son. I asked my son,
Yes.
I told my son, I said, let me know if you're ready to go. And I went up to give my son a kiss. Right after I got done praying, I went up to give him a kiss. My nose ring scratched his nose and he went into distress in front of me. And you could see the pain on my baby face and how it was so hard to bring him out of it. All they could do was rub his chest. And they did that for like 5 minutes before he finally came back to his normal self. And me seeing that, I didn't want my son to die in that type of pain.
Right.
So I decided that day that we were going to take him off of life support. But before we did, I did a 24-hour, like just me and my son in the room. I made them take him out of his baby bed, put him in a normal hospital bed. I slept with him for the last time. I held him for, all night. And then the next day we took him off of life support. And that's another thing we need to touch topic on. Nobody lets you know that when a person comes off of life support, they suffocate. My
Mm.
son suffocated in my hands. And they walked out of the room and just left me with my dying son.
They do that.
I didn't know how to take it. When I say I was about to flip, yeah, life got real hard after that.
You
I
know
had to
what?
physically watch my son's body go into rigor mortis. That was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's I'm glad you mentioned that too because a lot of people don't understand like the love that I got for my son daddy, which is my husband, but which that's a whole other story. But yeah. Um other people don't understand that because he chose like you said, they didn't explain that to us.
Mom, the light's going crazy.
What?
The light's going crazy.
Okay.
Like it's turning off and on.
I'll turn it off. Um like you said, they don't explain that to you. And my husband decided to hold our son when we took him off life support. And exactly what you just described, like that was a traumatic ass experience. I think had we known different and we known better, I don't think we would have did some of the stuff that we did.
Yeah, me either.
Like no. And then something else I wanted to touch on that you mentioned too. Oh, Brady, and that's one of them. Brady's and the things they were talking about, like when your heart rate stop or something.
Mm, that
Brady,
was
something else.
it was something. I can't remember the medical term.
Nick son, turn that switch off. But yeah, so this is the thing too, y'all. My son had never had none of those. Like
I
those
fixed it.
those mini heart attacks. My baby didn't never had none of those previous to them giving him that fentanyl. So I find that very strange. Even in his medical report, um, never. He didn't have any of those. So they can't tell me what I know when it comes to that. So Precious, you kind of mentioned on something that's actually my second topic. Did you feel, and this is for all of us, but I'm gonna start with Precious. Did you feel supported during this time? Like when you lost your son, did you feel supported?
Absolutely.
I didn't hear you went out.
I said absolutely not. I feel like I only really had just my sister, and even though she wasn't physically there, she was like the only person that was. I couldn't say, like I didn't have many people coming up to the hospital to check on me. I when I lived out there in St. Louis, I actually am from St. Louis, and I got family out there, and I was sleeping in my fucking car. Um, you ain't have I ain't have a lot of support during that time at all. Not from his father, not from the doctors. Um, Even when it came to me advocating for my son within the hospital, you'd have doctors like trying to shoot you down or trying to make you believe something that's not what it is. Like I had doctors speaking death over my child while he was still alive. So absolutely not. I did not feel supported.
Bree?
Um, just a little background story of my son on how he passed. I had preeclampsia. Not just preeclampsia, I had severe preeclampsia. Um, and I went. My mom was my advocate. She took me to the hospital multiple times because everybody that looked at me could tell I had preeclampsia. I was swollen.
Mm,
I looked at like two people.
that's
Like
crazy.
if they took the fluid out of my body, I could have been a whole other person. And my doctor told me that it wasn't preeclampsia.
Oh,
To just to put my legs up and the swelling would go down. It was normal swelling, pregnancy swelling. Um, he didn't want to take my blood to test if I had preeclampsia. He took my urine. I really don't think that he even took my urine to test if I had protein in my urine.
couldn't have.
Um, because I want to say 6 days later, my urine, my protein in my urine was over 3,000, something like that. It was a lot of protein. Um,
The neglect, man, that's crazy.
and to the point where my son passed away. Technically, my son passed away February 20th inside of me, and I did not know my placenta detached from my son
And that was
while he
from
was still in me.
that condition. Like if they would have done something sooner, it
If
wouldn't
they
have
if they would have did something sooner, if they would have did what they did for my daughter, which was to have me have an emergency C-section, my son would have still been here.
that's something that I think we all share too. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
The
If
hospitals,
my
doctors,
if
they
my
forget.
If they would have listened to what we were saying, my son would have been here if they would have did what they were supposed to and have me have an emergency C-section
Yeah,
like
like
they did with my daughter.
situation. How did y'all miss that on my ultrasounds? Like, if this was going on, how y'all didn't see that? Or even like with my situation, or even like we were just saying too, like the way that they just once they make their mind up that it's over, they don't give you the care that you need. Like telling me that my son got a 3% chance of making it out. My son, like they didn't say, and I want to make this clear too on my podcast. It wasn't a prediction of his life. He's not going to live. They said that he was never going to make it out my stomach. They said you are putting your life in danger. You and him are going to die because he's not going to make it, is what they told me. So the fact that my baby made it out of my stomach and was able to be intubated, it's like, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I was petty as hell after I had my baby. I wanted to see that doctor that told me that. Yes, I did request. And I said, how do you feel now? And he was like, oh no, I mean, we said that there's a chance, but no, you sat up here and you made me feel like I should not have this baby. You made
So
me feel like he didn't have a chance in this world. How
one
do
of the things that pissed me off, what y'all both just touched on, was whenever I was when I was pregnant with my son, they saw that I had a bleed above my uterus, and they told me every appointment that my son was smaller than the average, and they never caught his heart condition.
mm,
Then when it comes to the end of his life, you got a doctor that overhydrated him, and he goes, yeah, I overhydrated him, but if he was a normal baby, he would have bounced back by now. That same doctor came and stood next to me a week before Ryu passed away and said, I thought you were going home this week. I said, I'm not leaving until my son come off this ventilator. He said, well, you got to take into account that he might not come off the ventilator. The
there.
same doctor, multiple times, the one that made the mistake, came to me and just flat out just wished death over my kid. That is wild. The medical professionals and the way that they fuck up and then don't know how to fix what they fucked up and then don't have a care in the world afterwards is insane.
You know what? I didn't think about that. Let's talk about that. Let's throw that because that's not on my questions. But let's. I mean, we kind of touching on it, but let's talk about it. Like for real. When it came to our, I know our three situations. Like I know enough about y'all situations and mine to say we got failed. Like at the end of the
I
day,
definitely, and the what's crazy is I almost died. Nobody knows about this. I don't think I even told you, Reed, about this. Like I almost died because my blood pressure was so high.
from that.
The day I went to the hospital, the last time I went to the hospital, and they sent me to St. Louis to deliver. My my blood pressure was so high, I could have went into cardiac arrest.
You know what? That make me wonder though, because you know they always make us piss and all that type of stuff. Like what y'all do? Just pour it out and make up some stuff because that is insane.
I
They
and
there's
that
no
Okay.
and that was
there's no way that
and
your level could have been that high and not have been the
so
at that
and
point.
there so I'm under in my records it says my protein was not I had protein in my urine, which is somewhat kind of normal, but
Right,
it wasn't high enough yet. Even the same day when they did my blood pressure at that time was one. It was like 180 over 92, something like that.
girl,
They said it was not high enough
for them to be like,
yet
bro,
to be preeclampsia.
that's sad.
The second time I went to the hospital, at this point, my February 20th, my son was already gone. I didn't know it yet, but my son was already gone, and my blood pressure was one 190 something over 98. I almost died.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is
So
crazy.
when they read me my blood pressure, I was like, oh yeah, my son not here. My son not here. And they was like, my mom was there. She was like, no, keep it safe. I'm like, nah, my blood pressure way too high. I can't. I'm not even finna psych myself out to even think that he's still here. Like I got that feeling. He's not here. Um, so it was so many doctors in the room with me, nurses in the room with me, trying to find his heartbeat. Uh, and they couldn't find it. It was another doctor that was there. It wasn't even the doctor they even tried to do anything. It was my doctor that I had now for her that was like, yeah, your son not here. We're gonna send you to St. Louis because it you too high risk right now for us to even try to take him out.
Mm.
You know what?
And it was crazy.
That's what like angers me about Ryu's situation. It's like even with Junior too. They were at one of the best fucking hospitals. Like this is where we want to go. Like when shit not going right at Memorial, this is where we want to go. And I felt like I don't know why. I always, you're not supposed to question and stuff like that, but I'd be like, why my baby?
So I would think that, since children are one of the biggest hospitals, that it would be the best, but I don't believe that anymore
Well,
because
but before our situation, because we have a different perspective. But before that, just being in Carbondale, that's what we're told. Like if something is an emergency, we're sending you to St. Louis. So for us, that's what we thought. Now we know different.
hmm
We know
because
different.
after living in their ICU for four months, I realized like it's only considered the best because they have multiple people coming in and out. So like you got some of the best doctors that come through there, but a lot of the times like it's not even those doctors that are dealing with your kid. Did you notice how they have like a student thing going on and
Do you
everything?
do you hear her, baby?
Uh-uh.
You missed it. She is literally over there pooping, and it is like water coming out. Like I knew
Screaming
you didn't hear it because I'm like, what?
a week.
Oh
But
my
like
god!
every 3 days they switch up doctors.
Yeah,
Every 3 days. It
they're
don't
residents. Yeah.
and the fact that they don't even give opportunity for a medicine to work before they switch the medicine. Every time they switch doctors, they switch medicines. That
Yes.
was they treated my son like a test subject, and I stand firm in believing that my son was killed for the good of science because they didn't know much about his condition.
Now that actually was on my list. Because I followed Ryu's story. I was there for a lot of your lives, and I listened to a lot of the stuff that you learned that you passed to us. And I felt like that too with his condition being so rare. I remember there was part of your journey where you were begging the people to send you to a different hospital because
hmm
you had
I
found out information
I
that
even offered.
hospital had more information, right?
Yep, I even offered to pay to have my son airlifted to Philadelphia, and they denied me the ability to. They said it's not a money thing. It's just that they claim that they contacted the hospital in Philadelphia for help, but they would not let me take my son.
Yeah, and I remember that, and I just feel like you guys have no experience with this. Like you don't know what's going on. These people have seen this. They know. They have evidence of things to
And
do, and I'm not doing what I need you to do.
did the research on my own to find these people to go get my son help, and they still denied me help.
Yeah. I feel like too, like, which don't get me wrong, it was some babies in there that was small, and I actually know a couple of girls like in Carbondale and around surrounding areas that had premature babies. Like it's a girl, her babies was I think like the same size as my son, so his size was more. Y'all got the technology these days to save these babies. I think that when they got their mind made up though,
hmm
that's when it's like you don't get the care that you're supposed to be getting, man, because
Man.
their mind made up. And
I had doctors tell me, like, yeah, we just found out about this in 2016, but you got people in their 50s and 60s who live with this condition, and we don't know how they live that long. But we're doing what they said, medical research to find out will work and blah, 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 blah. And they treated my son like a test subject. I'm standing firm in that. Like every 3 days, his medicine got switched, his doctors got switched. And if it wasn't for all of that, I'm pretty sure my son probably had it. Like,
I agree. Hey, Bree, you might have to. Yeah, you might have to mute it. So for me, like this is why I'm doing this podcast. To answer the question about support, I've just been having to get this off my chest. Like I'm gonna straight up use my platform and my time to really say how I feel. When it comes to this subject, I think like this is the most hurtful part about my son's journey. I just feel like it wasn't there. my pregnancy being high risk was mad crazy, and I feel like people just take for granted. It's like you're pregnant, yay, and everybody want to be in your face. Where it's like as soon as you say something, everybody's all fucking happy, and then you go through that tough part by yourself, and then you have the baby, and it's like, oh, everybody want to be involved. And with my journey or whatever, it's like I felt like nobody was there for me when this shit was crucial. Like when I was going through the going through. Like
Mm-hmm.
my husband was there, but like nobody supported me. And when I had my son, it was just like I just remember like yesterday. I remember all the texts and calls like, oh my God, congratulations. I'm gonna come up there and see y'all. Mind y'all, if we had been in Carbondale, everybody and their fucking mama would have came up there to see us. But we
Mm-hmm.
were in Lewis. Y'all didn't give me that extra effort. Nobody wanted to drive. If we was going to a fucking concert or we was going to a party, y'all would have made y'all fucking way there. Nobody came to St. Louis to see my baby. So one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, why you didn't have no funeral? For who? For who? Y'all didn't even know my baby. You know what I'm saying? Nobody came. Well, let me take that back. So my mom and his mom and grandma, and then his paternal grandma and auntie. Now them five people did come one day. My mama came one day. His mama came. His mama and grandma came one day, and then the other grandma and auntie came one day. Out of his 11 days of life, those five people only seen him one time. And me and my husband had to sit there, which he left too. He went back home talking about he had to go to work. I don't give a fuck about no work. I wasn't leaving. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, like, I wasn't. But with that being said, it's just like nobody knew my baby. And when I say knew, y'all didn't even see him. So what the fuck do I want to have a funeral for? Everybody crying. What are y'all crying for? What I needed y'all to be crying for was when my baby was on that machine. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to sit there and watch his chest pumping up and down because a machine was pumping his chest. When I had to go to that damn Ronald McDonald house because I couldn't stay at the hospital that night because somebody else got the room, that's when I needed y'all there. And so I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna never forget that, and I never really forgive a lot of the people that call themselves my friends and my family, and they love me and my baby so much. Like I just got to get that off my chest. Like I've been waiting so long for this day, and
I,
I just want people to know, like it ain't about the rubbing my belly and waiting on my baby to get here. When people going through shit, that's when we need you.
I feel you. I feel specifically because my son, he had 4 months of life of being able to get to know my family and everything, but whenever the going got tough and my son got admitted in that hospital, I can't say nobody came to see us because I had like two of my sisters came up there to visit, my uncle came, but like you said, one day for each person. It was only one time for each person.
That shit.
And his father didn't come at all during the whole time we were in the hospital. As a matter of fact, before he got his last admit in the hospital, during the times after we knew he was sick, and I started making it a point to like let his father know. His father told me, I didn't sign up to have a sick kid.
Oh, that hurt.
You can't, he said, if you can't take care of him, you should sign over custody to the nurses who can take care of him. So I had his father being hateful up until he found out that shit was getting dire, and I hit him with the Ryu's about to pass away. Then he wanted to try to make his way, but by that time I was so done. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. So when it came to taking my son off of life support, it was just me and him. And it was so sad because once my son's breath was gone and I looked around and there wasn't nobody in the room with me, I had to pose my son with some teddy bears. Like that shit hurt.
Yeah.
Then once my son funeral, he didn't have a funeral. I did a viewing for the people that was around, like my mom, my sisters, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. His dad didn't show up to that. But 30 days after he passed away, had the nerve to hit me up with the I want another baby, I'm sorry, blah 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 blah. And me being gullible, have just lost my child. I fed into the shit just for us to start a job together and him to go to work and start cheating with other women that worked at the facility. I'm like, bro,
Why did I
all this.
think that was gonna be what happened? Oh my
So
god.
for me, it pissed me off so much because it's like I went through 5 years of a relationship. had a son, my son died, and all of this was with this man for nothing.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
You
it
know what?
really, really fucks with me. Not only do the family not be in there for me, but his father, even as his 9 days, I'm coming up on my son's 3-year death anniversary. And I ain't hear from his dad on his birthday that just passed. I like nobody even like now that my son's gone, motherfuckers act like my son never existed. And
That
that part,
that hurts.
man,
That's the hurt right there.
it hurts so bad.
That's the hurt.
It hurts so bad, bro. It hurts so bad. And I just keep on going, acting like,
That's the hurt right there. I
So
think for I think for me it was when my first Mother's Day came around,
I was just about to bring that up.
and no one besides my mom and my grandma, no one actually said Happy Mother's Day to me.
I did. I got text
Yeah,
message back.
yeah, you did. I'm like a lot of people didn't wish me a Happy Mother's Day or acknowledge that my son was even here. I'm like, y'all gotta remember, I was 8 months pregnant. I was about to give birth.
Yes.
I was
No, you
I was
gave
about to
it to her. What do you mean about to? You
no
gave
no
it.
no no. I mean talking about like he was gonna be alive. That
Right.
like that in that aspect. Like I was in that I was getting prepared to give birth to him,
Yeah.
and then I ended up losing him. So it's like I'm still a mother.
hmm
Granted, I still go through those phases where it's like I'm still stuck in between like if I'm a mother, if I'm not a mother because he's not here, and then getting hit with not only did I not get celebrated for Mother's Day, I get hit with, so are you planning on having another baby?
Oh, I hated that. Oh, I hated that
Right
so.
after it was like it's right after. Are y'all thinking about having another baby? I'm like, can we get over the fact that we just lost a child in this way?
You know
I'm
what?
like, my spouse is hurt. He couldn't even stay at the hospital with us because he was so hurt, and me and him got into it because of all of this. Like, can we get over this hump first before
I
y'all start asking?
like asking that question. I don't know. Precious, did you go through that?
Not really. Everybody
He asked about having a baby, but it's like I feel like that's such a slap in the face. Like, what you want me to replace my kid? Like, are you
kind
serious?
That, and they don't even acknowledge. And the crazy part, a lot of people don't even acknowledge my son. They just think, oh well, how's motherhood? I do know I did just go through motherhood, but in a
Right.
whole different experience of
Or
motherhood.
it be the now you have a baby, and I'd be like,
Yes, I got that
or
too.
no,
I
no,
have that
you know
too.
what pissed me off? You know what pisses me off whenever people go, "How many kids you got?" And I be like,
That
4. And I say one's in
that
heaven. They go, "Oh, you got 3?" No, I got 4.
yeah.
that
Listen.
that one
So that's why I wore this shirt today. Like I had to wear this shirt today because I wanted to remember. That was the main thing I wanted to talk about
is
because
that one for me.
that, and then it be the people closest to me too. Like I ain't gonna even lie. Like my mom, oh well, she gonna have to take this L for this. Like I used to be on her ass. Like that's my biggest supporter. That's I love my mom, but she would always say she has 3 kids, and I'd be like 4. So now it's so funny. Like when I listen to my mom and she talk. She'll talk about my kids and she'd be like, she is like my biggest advocate now. She tell motherfuckers out the gate. She has 4 kids. Like she'll get the, and then she'll tell my story or
My
whatever.
mom did. My mom did that too before. Like she didn't mean to, but like she was talking to somebody, and she was like, "I got this many grandkids." I was like, "Hold on, you missing one." I'm
You know
like,
what?
you missing one.
The beginning of your journey, so that's gonna happen a lot. And I'm telling you, like my mom, I used to be so angry with my mama. Like I think she peeped it because she'll tell me now, like she corrects herself. But
Yeah,
when people be like you said, how many kids you got, and you have to say that to them, and they be like, they don't fucking get it, or like we were saying earlier, totally acting like this is not my kid, like he didn't belong to me or something. I don't know what the fuck be wrong with people, but yeah, I
yeah.
have.
And I explain. I tell people I was like, I mean, I have 2 kids, but I'm a first time mom, and people always look at me like, huh, like, so you got 2 kids? I'm like, yes, I have 2 kids. I'm a first time mom. I was like, one of my children didn't make it all the way. He passed away inside of me. I was like, I have one that's here, but
I
I
live
need
for
another
those
one too.
moments though. I love letting people know because I feel like they need to be educated. And I'm gonna tell
Hmm.
y'all too, don't ever for a second, give these people no slack. Like, no, like they gonna respect us for real. And that's what I hope we get out of this, you know what I'm saying, podcast episode. Like for anybody that's listening, when it comes to a bereaved mother, parent, period, like have some fucking respect. Like be very considerate of what we going through, what we been through, and our children. We gonna make sure y'all know their name.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't know shit else, y'all gonna know their name. Anybody want to share? So like we kind of been talking, but like just to highlight most memorable, like best moment and worst moment when it came to your son. I'll go. I think my son actually coming into this world and proving that doctor wrong, that is like, I love that. Like, that was my highlight. You know what I'm saying? I still remember, like I said, him moving around, him doing everything that they said he couldn't. I'm never going to forget that because he proved what I said was right and he proved them doctors wrong. Like, he definitely made it into this world and I never forget that. The worst definitely has to be, like I said, the lack of support and the way them doctors did not take in consideration his life. Like I don't feel like they did everything that they could have did, and I definitely hate that they gave my baby that. Oh, and I didn't tell y'all that either. So we were staying at the hospital. You know how I don't know if you experienced this, Lex, or whatever, but when your baby is in the NICU or at Children's, sometimes you can stay in the room. They got rooms there. You can stay there.
Mm.
Don't get the room. You better try to get to the Ronald McDonald House and get that room.
Mm-hmm.
So, of all fucking nights, we were not at the. Nick had went back to Carbondale, and I was at the Ronald McDonald House. Y'all, they did not call me and ask me about that. They had asked me everything else. They did not ask me to give my baby that medicine, which I feel like, and I try to raise a point about that, but they didn't tell me that they was giving him fentanyl. They didn't ask me.
But I
So
thought even
I'll
you
never
supposed to
forget.
get
I
asked
got
that.
a call at 4:40 in the morning, and these people are like, "You need to get to the hospital now," and they explain this shit to me over the phone. Fuck you mean you gave him fentanyl? What you mean he just had a heart attack? What do you mean y'all just had to bring him back to life? Like you're telling me this over the phone. I don't have no car, nothing. I got to get back to this hospital. Like I was so messed up, y'all. Like that was the worst thing ever, and I'm just like I'll never forget that for real. Like that was the worst experience ever.
They didn't tell me that they were hooking my son up to that IV. So if I have to say what could have been like one of the worst things to walk into was to walk in and see my son swollen up like that, like to the point where he couldn't open his eyes or move his hands. Whenever I left him, he was fine.
Right.
And the reason of y'all hooking him up to an IV is because y'all didn't want to feed him. Y'all didn't want to hold his bottle.
I
That's
feel
ridiculous.
I was gonna ask you, did you feel like that too? Because I'm like, it was no from what you saying. Like, what was that? You, the doctor's not even giving you a reason why they did that. So, what did y'all do that for?
He looked dehydrated. His lips were chapped.
Yeah, that ain't no reason.
That's
That's
not
not
a
real. Because her
you
lips was chapped.
still have the ability to hold the bottle and feed him and make sure that he gets the hydration he needs versus like going the medical way and just hooking him up to an IV. He's a baby,
Absolutely.
you know?
Oh,
And then they
yeah.
didn't take into account that he had like nobody cared about the fact he already had a large heart, an enlarged heart. Y'all just gonna
Now
hook him up
it's
to
a little bit harder to even manage the IV at that point.
like y'all just gonna hook him up to IV. So that probably had to be one of the worst experiences is walking in from my baby normal, happy, smiling, laughing to walking into him not being able to breathe correctly and seeing him swollen like that. That was traumatic as fuck. But I don't know. I couldn't say it was the worst because the worst part of everything was like them taking my son off a ventilator in my arms and watching my son die. Like watching my son reach for his fucking ventilator when he realized he couldn't breathe no more, or
Yeah,
taking
dramatic.
super strong, loud ass breath. And then me thinking that he's done breathing, and then 7 minutes later he take another breath. That shit,
Yeah. You
like
know, and that's what I was saying earlier too, based on what you were saying. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, y'all know me in real life or whatever, so y'all know my situation. But a lot of people be like, I don't see how you there for your husband or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. Like, he don't deserve you. But nobody know what the fuck we went through. Like, this ain't no normal relationship where like
Yeah.
he cheated and you know what I'm saying we got into it and I'm taking the nigga back type shit. Like, no, this man, this was his first fucking child. and he held his son while his son took his last breath after a decision that we made when we wasn't fucking informed on how that was gonna go, and his life changed after that. Don't get me wrong, I lost a son too, but I had two kids before that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a child losing a child is losing a child, but that was that man only child at that time. You know what I'm saying? He held him while he took his last breath. I can never feel his pain because you know what I'm saying. At that time, my son was I think like 11 or something. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first child is still here. His child was gone, and the type of fucking trauma, like listening to her tell her story, like I know that pain. Like and Bree saying with you, like your son, you kind of knew, but it's still different. Like when you witnessed your child and you're holding your kid, and like you said, they leave you in the room, like, all right, have a nice last moment, like, bitch, like, I'm probably about to lose my mind here. Y'all might want to call somebody. Like
My
they just
Yeah, I did lose my mind at the hospital. I lost my mind in the hospital. I told them like, listen, I need to get out of here because they was finna let me go, but my blood pressure was still high. They was like, I don't think it's safe for you to go home. I was like, no, y'all need to get me out this hospital. I was like, if I stay here another day, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm like, my son is here and he's not alive. He's in y'all morgue right now, preparing to get cremated. I'm like, I can't stay here. I'm like, I feel his spirit in here.
they
I
don't think
can't be here. I can't be here in this exact moment. I'm like, my spouse is not here with me anymore because he's back home. My mom is here, yes, but I can't. I mentally cannot be here. And then after the fact, for me, I didn't have a good experience at all through the whole thing. I'm like, with y'all, the difference between y'all, like y'all got a chance to, hold y'all babies and baby to have that experience with them as you get to know them. For me, I didn't get none of that. I didn't get none of that experience for me. So after the fact, knowing like my spouse is have a son and me watching
yeah.
all of those experiences that they having together and knowing like I'm not gonna have that. And
That's so
especially watching it after losing our son, it was just like, what if like dang, like what my son would be like right now, what would his cry be? What would his smile be? Like I didn't get none of that. So it's like that was hard for me. That
that's a
was the worst experience.
that's a topic that I want to hit on too. Um, when my son passed away, I had somebody, I ain't gonna say who, but a certain somebody say something along the lines of, well, be happy you got that 8 months with him. That's they they said be happy you got that 8 months with him because he could have died early on or he could have died later in life. It would be worse if you had spent 24 years with your son and your son died. I'm like, whoa, how do
what?
you feel that's worse? And how could you compare it?
Why
Because
are
in my
you saying
opinion, I
that?
would rather my kid live 24 years. Like, what do you mean? So I'm gonna apologize to you, Bree, for whatever the fuck you went through because that shit, people saying shit like that, it triggers the fuck out of me.
It's
I
a
be
trigger.
I be ready to
It's
fight.
a trigger. And I like
And I experienced what you experienced after your son passed away. I still to this day I can't hold no baby that was around the size of my son's. Like I can't be
that part right there was so difficult. And then like being a stepmom, because at this point this is what I am because me and him ain't going nowhere.
Right.
It was so difficult trying to take care of his son while watching his son while he was gone and just losing a son.
hmm
That was the most difficult thing ever. Like it's
I
Being
like
still can't.
a, being a
I
mom
still
when you didn't get to actually like
I
have your
can't do that with my own.
is
I can't do
crazy.
that with my own son, but I'm doing this with you and somebody else's son, and that was the most difficult thing I had to experience and like suck up in a way. I'm like, cause I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
So I still got to accept that this is your son, and I think I expressed this to you too. I was like, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Nobody speak of the jealousy when you dealing with
hmm
somebody that have a child and you lose a
hmm
child. When they
even
you
children in
lose a child,
general, though, like my sister had a
like
baby. I felt that same jealousy.
I was jealous. Like even I was pregnant with my cousin as well. Me and my cousin was pregnant. She ended up having her baby right after me. I was like, I'm so jealous of the fact that y'all got to have y'all babies and able to experience those moments, and I'm not. I'm not experiencing those moments. Like my son didn't even get a chance to be on this earth and get his first breath. I would have been happy with that. Just at least to get his first cry out, at least get his first breath. I didn't get none of that. Got ripped from me. And I know we talking about our sons, but even with her, almost lost
And that's scary
her.
too.
And like my experience with her, I had to get rushed into an emergency C-section because she wasn't even breathing when she came out. I didn't even get a chance to see her until the next day. Everybody else got a chance to see her. I was
C-section
scared.
is a different monster. That shit hurt.
That's a whole nother
It
thing.
mentally fuck you up because, like you said, you don't get to see your kid till shit you can get out that bed.
I was scared. I was so nervous. I was like, I was telling, I was like, I can't. Like, I wasn't even gonna make it. Like, I wanted to deliver in St. Louis. My doctor was like, no, you going straight to Carbondale. Like, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it to St. Louis. You need to go straight to Carbondale. I
I
didn't
bet
even know I
that
was
was,
getting
I bet
into.
that was a lot of trauma too. Like experiencing that just a year ago and then hearing those words. Like I bet
I
that was
was
yeah.
scared. My doctor, like I said, my doctor that pronounced him dead was the one that took care of her while she was in me. He put me on the stress thing, and he was like, not even 2 seconds. He pulled me off. He was like, yeah, no, go. You need to go straight to Carbondale. I was like, okay. I'm crying at this point. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm about to lose my baby again. I'm not able to take it. I'm not gonna be able to deal with it. I'm like, y'all gonna have to plan my funeral because I'm not coming home without another baby.
For real.
I'm like, y'all was gonna have to plan my funeral. I'm like, that was just how that was gonna end up being because that would have hurt me to lose two kids within a year. Apart from yeah, nah.
Yeah, that
Even,
a different. Yeah, that's. And you know what? People actually experience that, so I send love to those people too. But yeah, like I mean, of course, when I was pregnant with Nixon, like y'all, I wasn't in a good space. And that's another thing too. Like Lex said, oh well, you know, you get another chance. Like, bitch, I want
yeah,
both of my kids. Is y'all cool?
yes. I
Okay.
want both. I
And
want
you
both of
know,
my
like
kids.
y'all was talking about like with that jealousy and like shit, like I went through a phase. So this is the like okay, so me and my kid's dad, like we got into it um during my pregnancy or whatever, and he knew. So like I wasn't talking like I said, I was still mad at everybody for not being there for me, you know what I'm saying, during the last situation. So I didn't want nobody to even know I was pregnant. Like I didn't announce it or nothing. So we get into it while I'm like 3, 4 months pregnant. And this motherfucker went to the internet and yeah, uh, she don't want nobody to know, but she pregnant with a son, and whoop whoop y'all. That hurt my feelings so hard. Cause why the fuck did you do that? But another thing too, I was personally going through some shit myself, y'all. Because first of all, when I found out I was pregnant, I felt like I didn't even want to have another baby anyway. Because I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like damn, like my son is gone. Like I felt like I was replacing him. Mentally, I was
That
going through all of that. Like damn, like I don't think that this is supposed to be happening. But I kept on saying I don't want it to be a boy. I don't want it to be a boy because I just knew that that was gonna hurt my heart so bad. Like I just did not want it to be a boy,
I
and then
wanted a boy.
I just kind of like I lost it, y'all. I lost it. Like I didn't know. I just felt so bad. Like I felt like I was replacing my baby. And to this day, like I just look at Nick's son sometimes, and I'm like, Junior just he came back because I'm telling you, they look, they eyes, they features and stuff just look so much alike. And I'm just like, my baby was like, you know what, mommy, I'm coming back. I'm here. Like
And I said that too before. I was like, it's crazy how much she looked like her brother. I was like, maybe he was trying to tell me like, Mama, don't worry about it. I got you in some type of way and form.
I was
It,
on the other spectrum of y'all. Like I was avoiding pregnancy like the plague. Y'all got me messed up. I'm not going through that.
I wasn't trying to get pregnant.
I
Hold on,
was too.
let's
Baby,
be
I
serious here.
don't
I
so
was
many
not trying to get pregnant.
two kinds of birth control. I was not playing. I was like, God,
Yeah, see, I wasn't on birth control, but
and
I didn't want it.
I was just so hurt because like I don't know if y'all know, but in 2019, one of my kids got hit by a stray bullet. So that was like that right there was like, God, I almost lost one of my kids. And then turn around 2022, one of my kids passed away, I was done. I was like, yeah, no, like I don't know why, but what?
Yeah, we're not gonna
No,
do it. Yeah, like when it comes to these kids, I can't do it no more.
I
Yeah,
can't.
I thought I was when I found out I was pregnant with her. Like I was scared. I was like, what if it happened again? What if I have preeclampsia
So
again? What if?
I got a question on the spiritual aspect. Did either one of y'all have any signs that y'all kid would pass away before it happened?
So I'm a
Yeah,
very spiritual person. Yeah, I was gonna say, but
in a way, yeah. So what's
I'm
crazy
spiritual. So
about
yeah.
that situation was the day that he technically passed away. Me and my mom went out to Target and went shopping, and we had went out to eat right after, and something was not right about me. I don't know what it was, but something in me just felt awkward. It just felt so off. And when I came home, I was shaking my stomach. I was like, I was just messing with it. And I was like, something ain't right. But it didn't click in my head that he was gone. At that point, I think he was gone at that point. But I didn't, or he was about to go. So I should have went to the hospital. And then I remember I was in so much pain, like I was in labor, but
Wow,
didn't know. And I was in a tub. I was in a tub for a long time to the point I was fell asleep.
that's crazy.
My boyfriend came in there and was like, "Is you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital?" I was like, "I don't." I'm like, "I know I'm good. I'm just soaking in the tub. Like I need to just relax my body." I feel like my son was trying to tell me like, "No, don't try to go."
So what about you? Did you have any spiritual signs or anything before it happened?
So, and this is why I beat myself up, y'all, because as a therapist, I know better. So I don't know, and I know Bree. So I do you care about me talking about like mental health and
Go
stuff?
ahead. Go
Okay, so
ahead.
I know Bree has been in therapy. I don't know if you have Precious or not, but me being a therapist, I'm beating my own ass because y'all, I still ain't did it, and I know I need to. Uh, but with my son, I'm very big on watch what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what you say. So I got a lot of regret, and I blame myself for my, you know what I'm saying, my son. Even though whatever happened happened, I said some shit when me and his dad was arguing, and
Mm-hmm.
at that very moment, I felt it. I felt it like I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my stomach. What I said, I felt like at that moment, I
It
predicted.
came back.
Yeah, and so mine is I guess like a two part. I said some shit that I feel like manifested, and I also I felt it. I just knew at that very moment that in a way I cursed his life. You know what I'm saying? I said something that I shouldn't have said, and yeah, I knew I never thought it was gonna happen because they gave my baby fentanyl. I never thought it was going to be an emergency C-section. I didn't feel that, but I knew that I felt that my time was limited with my son. I kind of knew that from pregnancy.
So when my son was 3 months old, I woke up out of my sleep and I had a dream that my son died in my arm in a hospital. And I got on social media and, like you said, very big on not saying certain shit. I feel like I spoke this shit into life. I literally dreamed the exact way that my son passed away. And I got on social media and I made a post and I said, I just had a dream that my son died in my arms. I don't know what I did wrong, but God, I'm turning my ass back to you. Put your hand, cover my kids in your blood, blah, blah, blah. Whole post, right? Three 3 months old he was when I made that post. And 5 months later, my son died the exact way that I dreamed it.
That should be hurting so bad, like especially when you like a spiritual person, like you we just be looking back like damn, like
Man.
And that's why I said, like, even when I had her, like the crazy things that was happening that day, it was like it was a whole nother spectrum for me because it was just like I had a dream about my son, like just playing, like he was just playing with her for somebody. So I knew what she looked like because I had the 4D pictures. I knew exactly what she was gonna look like, but it was like they was playing with each other. And then the next day, when I had my doctor's appointment, it was raining. It was pouring down raining. Her dad went to work. I was gonna walk to my doctor's appointment. Soon open the door, I see a cardinal and I see her dad standing outside talking to his grandma. I was like, now what is the odds of you being home right now
Mm.
for him to go take care of some business? I'm at this doctor's appointment and them telling me, oh yeah, she's not even moving for 30 minutes. Y'all need to pack y'all hospital bags and go to St. Louis soon. Nah, hold on. Let's put you on this monitor real quick to see how stable she really is. So, oh no, you need to rush to this hospital because y'all not gonna make it.
That's crazy as
It's
hell.
like I was so scared, and then when I found out I was having a C-section, nobody was in the room. Her dad was not in the room. My mama was in the room. I'm by myself. I'm just like, I'm like, look now,
That's a
not
good
this again. We're
too.
not doing this again. We're not doing this again. With that, because I will admit, I said some things during my pregnancy.
Yeah, we gotta be very careful what we say.
I said some things during my pregnancy, but at the same time, I was hurt. I was so hurt by losing my son and also going through personal things as well at the same time, and then feeling guilty that I was pregnant again
Yep.
right after. It's like, am I like you said, am I replacing my baby? I wasn't allowing myself to actually be happy during my pregnancy because I was so worried. Oh, what if I have preeclampsia again? What if something goes wrong? I was not allowing myself to be happy until I got to 9 months and I passed that due date when he passed. I was like, okay, February passed is gone,
Them dates, y'all. Them dates is something else, ain't they?
and
Yeah.
his due date is coming up. His due date was April 30th.
Always something.
Nine days. They due dates was 9 days apart. Her original due date was April 21st, and his was April 30th.
For everybody else, family and friends, they for them like birthday, they want to say happy birthday, they remember birthday, but for us it's like I remember the day you came into this world. I remember the day I had to go to the hospital. I remember the day you passed away. I remember every damn date there is.
Man,
It just don't like every
it
time.
don't stop. It don't stop.
That's,
The
that,
dates pop up in my head when I'm sleeping. The scream I screamed when they told me his heart was not, it was no longer there. He has
Like
no.
the
Oh
times
my god,
you will never forget that shit.
that scream! I remember the faces of my nurses and doctors that was in our room that day when they told me he was no longer here. I remember it all. I screamed so loud, and they say you will always remember a mother's cry and scream when they baby died. I'm like, oh my god, I was not expecting to have that moment.
that
That was
rem- of
that was
oh,
sick to me.
that reminded me of whenever I was actually holding my son, like before after they took him off of life support, right? His heart beat for another 45 minutes. After he stopped breathing, his heart was still beating. So I didn't want to set him down. And I just held on to my baby and held on to him. And then I turned around and I noticed that he had teeth. I was like, what the fuck? My baby got teeth. I set him down. Baby, the moment I set him down, his heart stopped beating. I screamed so fucking loud. I let out a screech. And then every doctor and nurse come running back in the room trying to listen for a heartbeat. I was so pissed. I was ready to punch that bitch in her face. Like, you listening for a heartbeat.
When I'm sitting here telling you what I know, like do that when I ain't in here. That is, I ain't gonna lie. That after process is
But
the
that I
hardest.
couldn't leave. I could not. Once I had passed the point of watching my son die, I couldn't leave him. So I stayed in there until they came for the fucking morgue and put him in the body bag, zipped it up. I walked down to the fucking mortuary with them and everything. I could not leave my baby.
Oh, y'all
But
wanna know?
Yep.
when I finally did, and I'm glad that I didn't leave in that moment because when I went outside, I had a second to think. And if it wasn't for that second to think, baby, I'd have jumped my ass off the side of that building.
That's what
I
Brie was.
really would have.
You don't understand. Like when I'm telling you, I'm losing it. Y'all wanna know? This is like how they say bittersweet. Like this is the most craziest shit. This is why I know. This is why my husband is the way he is. Why he fucked up. So, like you said, they gave us a choice or whatever, like how we wanted to proceed. After I watched my baby suffer the way that he was suffering, you know what I'm saying? Like he going through all this trauma, we decided like, okay, we're gonna take him off. If it's meant for him, you know what I'm saying, to keep thriving, he's gonna do it on his own. If not, then the machine is what's keeping him alive. So we made this decision. So, like I said, his dad held him when he took his last breath. Do y'all know? As soon as we realized that my son had passed away, these people was like, "Well, we have this person here that before we take him away, do y'all want to take pictures?"
We
Mind
took
you,
pictures.
we're so fucked up in the head that like I want these last moments because you finna take my baby and I'm never going to be able to take him home or nothing like that. So I'm like, yeah. And when I look back at them pictures, y'all, I'm like, this is the most heartless shit that we ever could have did. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for it, but it's the way that y'all just presented it, and like, I just think they need to handle that a different way, because this lady was just a clicking, and my husband is like, literally like snotty nose, everything. I looked a damn fool because, mind you, I had just had a fucking baby 11 days before that. I'm stuck in St. Louis. I don't have nobody to come and care for me. Like, I'm looking like Aunt Jemima or somebody. But these pictures, and I'm just like, that was heartless as fuck.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
y'all,
we definitely took pictures.
like my son had literally just took his last breath and she was clicking pictures. Like, there was no way that you thought that was okay.
So before my son passed away, when they told me I told them like we're gonna take him off of life support. You know, I spent 24 hours with my son. During that 24 hours, I had people coming in the room asking if I wanted to make memorials, any type of memorials and stuff like that. So they did a recording of his heartbeat while he was still alive to make the heartbeat. I thought that was pretty cool. But then when you had the fucking, I don't know, what do you call him? It was a man that came in to make a mold of his hand and his feet.
Yep.
Oh, I
He
know. Yeah,
he came in, he grabbed my son's hand and he dropped my son's hand. He said, "We can't do it. He's still alive." I was like, "What?" He said, "Well, if he's still alive, he gonna move and possibly mess up the mold. We gotta wait until after he dies." That shit fucked me up. I'm
That's
like,
why I
"What
said
the
it's so heartless. I don't know if it's because that's their job, y'all, but it's the most heartless shit that I ever experienced.
man? It's so heartless." I was like, "What the fuck? What? Why you just what?"
I am so
Because now
grateful.
the time that I'm enjoying with my son, you just fucking ruined it. Because now here we go talking about death again. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I was so
I was so grateful for the person that did do that for my son. She kept it. She was she had a heart. I would say that she was on point with every single thing. To this day, she still emails me, call me to make sure I am good. To this moment, like they be having like memorials, whatever, and at the house, I'm like, I am so thankful for her because if I would have had somebody like that, I'll probably go crazy. I'll probably be mentally,
I'm gonna have to show y'all these pictures one day. Like, I'm grateful. Like I said, I did
yeah.
pictures of my baby, and
I don't think I showed you my pictures of him.
no, I didn't. I seen like a picture of him only, but I didn't get like the other pictures. But what I do want y'all to understand, I'm grateful for them pictures, but the process was heartless than a motherfucker. And I tell you
I,
that.
I offer professional photos. That's why you heard me earlier when I said when it came to when I looked around and it was just me and my son and I started taking pictures of my baby after he passed away. I had to surround my son in teddy bears. Baby, nobody offered me professional pictures. It was just me and him. I don't know where the fuck that part even came in at.
That girl, when I say like he literally like I mean we watched him take his last breath, and I kid you not, it was like 2 seconds later they were like, hey, like you
They
want to.
didn't do it like that, but right before he passed away, they walked in the room and said, "Before we take him off of life support, do you want him to be an organ donor?" Bitch, if you don't get the fuck, if
Right.
y'all don't get the, y'all just killed my child. He's not even dead yet, but y'all telling me y'all finna kill my child, take him off life support, and y'all want his organs?
Yeah, that it's the most heartless thing I've ever experienced, y'all. Then like, so that's another thing too. Like with my baby, because he was 14 ounces, y'all. I kid y'all not. This is crazy. Like my baby could literally fit in my hand. I can't wait to show y'all some pictures of him. He was so adorable, but he could fit in my hand, right? And it was like, so they talking to us about like this funeral process, y'all. Death is a fucking business. So my baby was born in St. Louis. Of course, we live in Illinois. You got to come back across. Do y'all know it was gonna take like almost $1,500 just to get my? This is not even including the funeral. fifteen
Mm-hmm.
hundred dollars just to carry a baby this like he literally is this big. A baby this big back across state lines, $1,500. I'm like, y'all are some fucking. And then I gotta speak on that because so when I grew up, my house was here. We had a funeral home here and a funeral home here. I grew up in a funeral home. We did everything. We used to be over there sweeping and stuff. I kid you not. I called a man that I consider a family friend, like an uncle to me. That we did lots. My daddy did a lot of work for these people, and that man told me it wouldn't be beneficial for us to come and get him.
I
And to me,
paid
that
to
when
have
he speaks to
all
me,
Illinois.
when he speaks to me, it makes my asshole ache because I be wanting to tell him it wouldn't be beneficial for me to speak to you because that hurt my fucking heart. Like that pissed me off. Like, and then you know what? Matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Logwood. Y'all, that man came and got my baby. He was working for Walker's Funeral Home. He came and got my baby, and they did my service, and y'all, they didn't charge us nothing, but the cremation part. Like when it came to him picking up my, he didn't even charge me to go pick up my baby. They only charged us for the cremation part, and I thank Mr. Logwood to this day. Like that was a blessing.
I did have to pay the 1,500 to get my son brought from St. Louis to Illinois. But when it came to the funeral home, Meredith Funeral Home, shout out to them. They discounted everything for my son being a baby. I didn't have to pay for a casket. I didn't have to pay for half of the service. They cut everything in half. What should have been a $7,000 service costed less than $3,000.
Like
Um, they
I'm
cremated my son, and then the cremation was supposed to cost, that didn't cost. Like a lot of the cost got cut in half thanks to Meredith Funeral Home. So I'm a very appreciative of them, and I send them flowers every year on my son's death anniversary.
yes,
So
and you
shout
can.
out to
Mine didn't cost anything. I forgot what the funeral home was. There was so much going on during those few days. But my we went to go. They have like how much it was because the hospital was like, okay, um, we can pick the funeral home. Like it would be free as far as like if you want to do cremation or whatever. I was like, I know I want cremation. I don't want to bury my baby. I don't want a funeral. I was like, there's a lot of people that wasn't even supportive of this. I'm good on a funeral. Nobody needs to see my baby. One, I don't need nobody to see my baby in this state. My
Yes,
baby is pulling. My baby is all type. No,
yeah.
I don't need that. I don't need that image of my baby to be out there like that.
Then
Um,
mentioning that, one of the things I really was pissed off about that because I got pictures of my baby. He was so cute with his little outfit on when they took the pictures. But I'm like, if a motherfucker would have walked up taking pictures, y'all, I would have lost it.
yeah, I can't. I wouldn't be able to do that.
yeah.
I'm like, I
I
can't.
would have lost it.
I won't be able to do it. I'm like, I don't want to put him in the ground. I'm like, I need my baby. I'm like, I'm getting cremated. I was like, so when I pass away, I want my baby ashes to be mixed in with mine. I was like, no, we're not.
So
I'm not gonna be able to do that.
like I said earlier, the reason that I did the little viewing was for my family
Yeah,
and my
they knew him.
father's family to be able to come, but also because once I knew that I was taking my son off of life support, has older siblings that didn't get a chance to say goodbye. So, and I didn't want them to see him die. Like they were like, we can wait to take him off of life support until your family get here. I ain't want my kids to see that. So I gave them that last opportunity to see him. But I honestly, in all 100% honestly, I wish I did not do it. Not like I still would have gave my kids the opportunity to see their brother one last time, but the whole point of the viewing was for my family and his family to
How
come.
many people showed up?
Baby, 18 people.
See, yeah.
Mostly my family and like four of his family members. You had people in his family saying like, I ain't want to see him like that. Well, you ain't seen him at all,
Right.
so why ain't you show up? His dad didn't show up, so what the fuck? Like, what did I even do it for? I should have just kept it limited to me and my children only. That would have saved me so much more grief. But
Yeah, the people that needed to see my baby was there. That was me, his dad, and my mom.
Yeah.
Those the two people that was there for me when I pushed him out. I'm like, I don't need all the rest of that. I don't need all the fake sorries because there's a lot of those the fake
Her
the
too.
fake. I'm sorry that this happened to you. Then the backhand. So y'all gonna try again?
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I couldn't take that and try to do a funeral. I couldn't do that. I was like, just cremate my baby. I'm like, just cremate my baby and we can move on past. I'm like, whatever we gonna do as far as a service is gonna be between me and his dad. And to this day, when his day came along, I did my baby shower.
I love that.
I'm like, no, we gonna do something separate. I'm
You know what?
not gonna
I wish I could show y'all that because that's literally like y'all, the bomb. Y'all just be leading right into my shit. My last, I'm gonna say something, but my last question is, how do you plan to keep his name alive? So we're gonna jump into that next. But one of the things that Precious said that I really want to touch on because I ain't gonna lie, like when it comes to my son passing, I got a lot of regrets, y'all, and that's really why I'm doing this. Like don't get me wrong, because I know all my therapists probably gonna get on my ass because I know I need to do this the right way. I need to finally address my issues, but my
We
podcast
should do that. We should do that.
my podcast and really like doing this was part of me healing.
Hmm.
Uh, One of the things that I got regrets about is my kids was babies. Like they was 10, I think they was like 9 and 10 or 10 11. I gotta remember. But they don't have cars. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no way to just come up to the hospital. I never left the hospital that whole 11 days. So my older kids, I had two older boys before I had Junior, and they never got to meet him. And I'm gonna be honest, I think my oldest son, he nonchalant. He's so sweet. He don't do nothing. But like my middle boy, I think he got resentment toward me, y'all, because they never got to meet their brother. They seen him on FaceTime, but they never got to go to the hospital. They never got to, you know what I'm saying, touch his cube. You know what I'm saying? They stuff that I talk about and I watch his facial expression. I think he got a lot of resentment because he got his brother tattooed. Look, y'all, he was 16. He begged me and begged me and begged me. He got the biggest tattoo across his arm of his brother's name. And I watch how he talk about him. And I just think that my kids missed that. Like they didn't get to meet their brother for real. Like
And I honestly, I think about that too. I'm like, granted, my boyfriend's son is young. He didn't get a chance to meet his brother, and I always think about that. Like, what if, like, like when he get older, he start asking about like
did
he
I
didn't get
see?
a chance. Did he see him? Like, did he like he was around me when I was pregnant? Like he was to my hip. If you remember, he was always at my hip when I was pregnant with my son. But I'm like, he never got a chance to actually see him. I'm like, in the pictures I do got of him, he's gone. I was like, I'm like, do I show him those
Yeah.
pictures when he get older? And it's like, I don't want him to that be his first image of his brother.
I
That's
don't
kind
think
of hard.
y'all should beat yourself up about the fact that y'all's babies didn't get to meet the other babies, because from my opinion, me having to watch my older kids go through the pain of losing their brother was that's another pain. That's some, so
Yeah.
it's something so totally different. And like still to
Cause
this
he
day,
did go home, yeah, like he was there, and like they actually played with him. They don't like it's bigger than pictures for them. Like they really got memories, and it's like my brother. Like
even in y'all's situation, when it comes to that regard, I don't think that certain things were meant to be seen by certain people, or else it'll affect their mental, and they were still very, very young. You know what I mean? So like when it came to my kids and what they had to experience with their brother, going back to school was hell. They, for the whole year after they went back to school, both my two oldest kids completely lost focus of what school was supposed to be about. Like all they could talk about was their brother. All they could think about was their brother. All I got calls about was, can we start them in school counseling? And because this, that, and the third is going on, we think it has something to do with your son's death. Did you actually have a son that died? Because your son said blah 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 blah, like for a whole year. So maybe God shielded y'all babies from seeing that, because certain shit they shouldn't have to see, or they shouldn't,
I honestly don't think my stepson actually know that his brother passed.
because he's still
so
small.
young, yeah. See, that's the
I don't
difference.
think he
My
knows.
kids is teenage, like they 18 and 19, and like I said, I think they were like 10, 9 and 10, 10, 11. But I think it's just they used to rub my belly. They used to listen to the heartbeat monitor. Like they knew that they was gonna have a brother, and then I went to go have a baby, and they just know that he never came from the hospital. So I don't know. I just be like, dang, I wish they could have come to the hospital. Not when he was passing away, but like if they would have even just came before that, that sucks.
Yeah.
I did feel a similar feeling because, like I said, I ended up getting back. Like when me and my child's father were together, he had two other kids that lived in Iowa at the time with another woman, and by the time they even made it down here, their brother was gone. So they knew me as his pregnant girlfriend, and then when they came back, they don't got a brother, and they asking where their brother at. Then I also had the older son tell my son, "That's why your brother did. That's not my brother."
Whew.
So we had to have conversations about shit like that, but they never got the chance to meet him or consider him their brother or get to know
They
him.
don't, yeah, they don't have that connection to like, no, you don't
Yeah.
say shit like that.
Yeah, it was tough for sure.
So, how do y'all plan to have their names live on, and have people know like my son? It's my son. He's
lived.
a boy. You know,
Right.
lived.
how
So,
y'all
so
gonna do
for
that?
me, I'm gonna go get it real quick so I can read it to y'all. But I want to open up a school
A
in the
school?
name of my son.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I kind of like, I'm the type of person that puts shit into, like, I plan shit. So I wrote it down exactly what kind of school I want to have, what I'm gonna name it,
Now that's
and
dope. I'm not expecting that. You done went
Right,
there.
you went there.
so I said, in the name of Ryu, I want to have a school built called Ryu School of Fine Arts, where kids of all ages can come after school to try different skills ranging from pottery, gardening, herbalism, sewing, knitting, cooking, etymology, psychology, business management, and transitioning into adulthood and more. So, like, the stuff that they don't offer us in school, actual skills that we learn, as adults, that we put into play versus like the math, science, social studies, and all that. I want to be able to open a school to teach kids actual trades that they can, grow and use.
Yeah, you know what?
I love that.
Even if it's even if you don't start off as an actual school, you can create an after school program, period, and
Yeah.
call it exactly what you said until it manifests into something bigger, like starting it, period. And that's interesting because I'm going through it right now. Like my son, Nick's son is like, he is so smart, y'all. Like he is very smart. And I just hate that we don't have shit, y'all. Like we don't have nothing for the kids. Like remember when we
Yeah.
was younger, they used to have like little after school programs, foreign language and all that type of stuff. We have nothing. And I was just saying basically what you just said. Like I don't want no basketball, football, the average
Yeah.
sports. I don't want the average little go to boys and girls club. No, I want my son to like get a skill, get a talent, get something that's unique and different. Everything that you just named was the type of stuff that I'm
And
into.
and
Yes.
that's why I told my boyfriend, I was like, when she get old enough, I want to do homeschooling slash public schooling. I want her to know stuff that they're not gonna teach
Yeah.
inside of the schools. How to manage their money, how to
Yeah.
cook, how to do other stuff other than, oh well, you're a female, you need to know how to cook and clean. No.
Yeah.
I want you to know how to garden. I need you to know how
Like
to do
right
all
now
these
in
other
our
things.
real lives, like what did the English, well, I ain't gonna say English, that probably did, but like, what did the like little core classes that we took? That ain't what makes me the best therapist that I am. That ain't what got me a job 10 years ago. Like, I don't be doing no damn dividing and all that type of shit in my job. Like, everybody don't need them core classes.
Yeah.
They need life skills in school.
Yes, yes, and that's my mission, to teach life skills and different things to kids, especially underprivileged kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Precious, I'm gonna be on your ass. I'm gonna be asking you every day, like, okay, because
What we
I'm on
doing
it,
this?
baby. I'm on
Oh,
it.
look.
I got
Like,
it.
what we doing this?
you can start that now. You ain't even gotta wait for
Man. Because I would help with the
Work,
cooking
work
thing.
in progress. I'm telling
I
y'all.
would I would help with the cooking thing. Trust and believe.
yeah. Look, you said we
Hey,
coming to class at Ryu's. What is it? Ryu's what?
School of Fine Arts.
come
Yes.
on. But I would
Yeah.
help with the cooking parts. I love teaching. I love teaching cooking.
Bree,
That's
Bree,
my
we know you
thing.
know how to. We know you a chef. We
Cooking, cooking.
So, Bree,
But no, like,
what you doing to keep Joshua's name alive?
so for me, kind of some with what she said, but mine's a little different. I want to be an advocate for mothers that have preeclampsia. Because a lot, for some odd reason, a lot of people don't know about preeclampsia.
That's crazy.
A lot of people don't know about it. So I really want to be like an advocate, and one day do a scholarship for like the mothers that had babies and they had preeclampsia. I want them to have like a scholarship or something like that in honor of my baby. Um, some in that sense eventually. And then every year on his birthday and the anniversary of like what his due date was, I want to release balloons and write a letter to him every year just to memorize him and also his name is definitely tattooed on me, so he's remembered. So
I
that's how
love
I
the
remember my
advocate
baby.
part because one thing that I experienced within the hospital is feeling as if I had no advocate. I felt like I was advocating not just for Ryu, but advocating for myself. And then whenever I would advocate so hard, you'd have people coming to try to talk me out of, the
Yeah,
thing I was telling the doctor was necessary for my kid. Like I was like, why am I the one that's fighting for my son to be, why ain't none of you doctors? So being an advocate of any form, I
yeah,
salute you on that.
Yes, and that's crazy because that's where I'm at with it. That is definitely something that I plan to do. Like I want, like what I'm doing now, bringing awareness. You know what I'm saying, to the mommies and the kids that are no longer here. Like y'all want to acknowledge the fact that they are our kids. They are somebody, and the whole little acting like they didn't exist. That shit ain't gonna happen. I also want to, like you said, the memorials that they be having like annually at the hospitals that we had our kids at. I want to continue to be involved in things like that. And on a personal level, I said this like 2 years ago and I still ain't did it. I wish I could take y'all outside and show y'all. I got my molds and everything. I am creating a pond in my yard, a memorial pond for oh, it's a Lex, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it said it. I'm creating a memorial pond for my son. I already got my molds and everything. I just been waiting on like the right person because I want to make sure it's right. But I'm gonna have a koi pond for Junior, and it's gonna be Baby Hank's pond. I don't know if I want to put it in the front or the back, but yes, y'all better be looking out for that. And
do the
also,
front,
I want it, huh?
do the front.
Okay. I'm just scared because this is little boy to be coming over here, and I don't want him to be. It ain't deep, but shit. But I also wanted something very special to me.
Put like a little gate around it.
I am. I'm gonna definitely have a gay just because Nick's son is, he active silly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let y'all know that so Junior was born on May 2nd. He passed away on May 11th. This year, May 11th is Mother's Day. I mean, it's gonna be a very hard time for me, but I am dropping this episode on Mother's Day, so y'all be looking for it.
Okay.
Definitely, I'm happy. Thank y'all for making this possible. This is like the best gift that I can give myself for Mother's Day, and yeah. So I end all of my episodes with a final thought. Precious, what's your final thought?
Um, my final thought is for one, I appreciate both of y'all being here to have this conversation with me because it was very much so needed. And my son's death anniversary is coming up. So touching on this topic 8 days before his death anniversary really meant a lot to me. Um, Also, for anybody that listens or watches, just like everything else that we've said, please learn to respect bereaving mothers. Please learn how to put some respect on our kids' names. And always remember that just because somebody's child passed away, don't mean that that child never existed. Like my son lived, he was here. And I want the world to know that he was here and he goes like his energy, as long as I'm alive, his energy is gonna live through me.
For
Man,
sure. Love that. Y'all heard it. Clock that.
clock it.
Bree, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that like she said, like I am very much glad that we had this conversation because I'm still in my grieving process. um, so this definitely helped heal a little bit of me just talking about it with other parents that went to like similar experiences as I did. Um, and my anniversary of his due date is coming up in a few days
Oh
on the
wow.
30th. So just just having these conversations is definitely healing. And now it's me. I need a drink to ease my
Real
my
quick,
stress.
real quick. Also, I'm, coming up on 3 years. I don't know how long it's been for you, sis. And you said you coming up on how long?
So it's been a year. He would have been one in February.
Okay, so also I wanted to say this: grieving never, it's never done. We're gonna
Oh
grieve
yeah, no.
until we can't grieve no more. But like this does help us. But I just wanted to say, I'm gonna grieve for the rest of my life. So I hope that when people see me, that they don't put that past me, like I'm over my son's death or anything like
Yeah.
that, because it ain't never going
We
nowhere.
would
Like
never
my
be
baby,
done. We
never.
would cry throughout the night and still be.
That's why I wish we would
Man,
have. So my other dynamic, I wanted to have like an older woman, that experienced it or whatever. Because like, I mean, I ain't gonna go into a ramble about it, but I feel like women who experience, the loss of a child, especially like infant loss, many years ago, like they didn't have the internet. They didn't have, Facebook to make a post and everybody comment and sending a reactions and love or DMing you or support groups. Like we like literally have support groups and shit, online too. They didn't have a lot of that stuff then, so I would have loved to get that dynamic perspective or whatever, but we didn't have it today. But I'm grateful for that too. Like sometimes, or like we were saying, we did research on our own health conditions. Like being able to go to the internet and pull up that stuff is like amazing. Like a lot of that stuff wasn't at our hands before, so I'm grateful for all of that too.
Hmm.
And it's been 8 years since Junior was born, and he passed away. He'll be 8 on May 2nd, and yeah, it's crazy.
now we're gonna be celebrating him. Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
that's cool too. So usually I do a balloon release every year. I've done a balloon release every year since it happened. I usually do a balloon release on his birthday. This year I'm gonna switch it since it's Mother's Day. I'm celebrating on Mother's Day. I'm having him a birthday party and everything. So this year is gonna be a little bit different. I'm having a lot of stuff going on for him this year. I'm excited. My final thoughts is I'm grateful to have you ladies here. This has been a much needed episode. Me and Precious have been talking about this forever. It's finally happening. I'm excited. I'm excited that it's dropping on Mother's Day. Like, what better gift can I give myself, for Mother's Day and in celebration of my son? Like Precious said, that was gonna be my final thought. I want y'all to know, stop speaking like my son never existed. Like I don't care
That
if it was 14 ounces or 14 pounds when he came out. He was my son. He was born. He beat the odds, and it's long live Junior forever. So
Hmm.
I'm grateful to have you ladies here. It is the Unconventional Therapist Podcast, and we are out. Bye, ladies. See ya.
It's a conviction.